We are live.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call to order the North Canton Finance Committee meeting to order, October 12th, 2020. Time is 7 p.m. Ben, will you please call the roll?
Member Fonte?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Shredda?
Here.
Member Stroya?
Here.
Member Foltz?
Here.
Member Peters?
Here.
And Member Warren?
Here.
7 present.
All right, thank you. Well, first up, and the only one we have on the committee, Chairwoman Warren.
Yes. So I received a call last week from Gina and Ben, and I'm actually meeting tomorrow morning with the grouping, the mayor and our director of finance or director of operations, and then Matt Stroyer will be meeting another time. But we did receive more monies from the CARE Act, and so we are going to need to spend those by December 31, 2020. Gina or Pat, if you'd like to elaborate on that. I know we were kind of surprised, and yet in a good way, and I know we have some ideas for this that we'll be talking about in the future.
Yes, so round 3 that we received is over $600,000. That's the appropriation amendment that we're asking for emergency approval for tonight so that we can begin spending that and spend it before the deadline, as Stephanie had mentioned. The third round was more than round 1 and 2. One and 2 was around $525,000 together. So we've received over $1 million. Yes, putting it to good use. Lots of restrictions on the money. But we will provide council a list of all the things that we've done once we have everything encumbered and committed.
Wow.
Okay. Are there any questions at this point?
Nope.
Okay,
Not at
great.
all.
Great. Well, we'll put that on the agenda then, and it's under emergency.
Okay, very good. That concludes the committee meeting. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the committee.
So moved, Warren.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, now at this time, I'd like to call to order the North Canton City Council regular meeting, October 12th, 2020. The time is 7:04 p.m. Mark, would you like to lead us in prayer, Dom?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Lord, as we start this meeting, we ask for your blessing and help as we take on this honorable task you have bestowed upon us of representing our citizens in this blessed community. Help us to listen, to understand, and to learn the knowledge that is needed to make the wise decisions for the betterment of our community. In God's name we pray. Amen.
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 All right, if at this time, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States
of America,
to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under
God, indivisible,
liberty and justice
for
for all. All right, thank you very much. Ben, will you please call the roll?
Member Foltz?
Here.
Member Peters?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Fonte?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Shredda?
Here.
And Member Stroya?
Here.
7 present.
All right, thank you very much, sir. At this time, for your consideration, I need a motion and a second to approve as presented. Minutes from September 21, Committee of the Whole. Minutes from September 21, Special Council Meeting. And minutes from September 28, Council Meeting.
Fold some motions to approve as presented.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, at this time, I believe we have one speaker. Ben, I will turn it over to you. Just a quick reminder that we have a 5-minute time limit, and please keep it brief, to the point, and respectful. And Ben, I'll let you take it from here.
Mr. Osborne, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
We
Yep.
can when you're ready, sir.
Okay. Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast North Canton, Ohio. I have purposely avoided city council meetings for quite some time as I am overwhelmed by the utter lack of representation for the citizens who elected you to office. There is absolutely no skepticism of anything that is presented, and nothing is viewed from the eyes of North Canton residents. In media reports, I keep hearing about DORA. I wish this were about Dora the Explorer, but instead I have learned that DORA stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. What is so exciting about walking up and down Main Street, drinking an alcoholic beverage from a plastic sippy cup? Is there a desire to drink a beer on the front steps of St. Paul's Church or any of the other churches, child care centers, or the YMCA on Main Street? Or maybe after a strenuous council meeting, members of council feel a need to share a beer on the front steps of City Hall. Most communities forbid alcohol in their parks, yet apparently the consumption of alcohol will be allowed in Bitzer Park if consumed from an official DORA sippy cup. The city will never recover the $10,000 expense of placing signs and trash receptacles at every intersection from Bakel Street north to 11th Street. In addition, the city will have to purchase official North Canton DORA cups to resell to designated sellers of beer, wine, and other intoxicating liquors in the DORA district. I do not want my city taxes used to order and sell plastic sippy cups and then have city workers have to empty at least 24 trash containers up and down Main Street. North Canton does not have taverns or bars because North Canton residents do not want that kind of atmosphere. Before a new business in North Canton can apply to the Ohio Department of Liquor Control for a liquor license, that business must seek approval at the ballot box from the citizens in the very precinct where the business proposes to operate. This DORA deceptively undermines the intent of the voters when an open container of liquor is allowed to be taken out and consumed as people stroll up and down Main Street. I understand people enjoy an alcoholic beverage with their meals when they travel to their favorite restaurant. Having driven to that restaurant, are we now going to allow restaurant patrons to walk out with an open container of alcohol to their cars, setting the stage for a violation of open container laws? There is also the added burden for North Canton Police, who will be expected to monitor this public drinking activity. Putting forth this unneeded legislation during a time of virtual meetings is underhanded and does not serve the citizenry of North Canton. Further, Ohio's statute governing creation of a DORA states legislative action cannot start earlier than 30 days after the initial publication of the notice of application for a DORA, which took place on September 26, 2020. North Canton's DORA legislation action began 2 weeks ago on September 28, 2020. This is before the required 30-day waiting period specified by law. On this point alone, this legislation violates the DORA statute outlined in the Ohio Revised Code. Further, Ohio statute describes in the required publication of the application for a DORA that the time and date of a public hearing be included in the published notice. North Canton City Council has held no public hearings on DORA. Published news reports of other communities who have pursued the, and I quote, alcohol will save us dream called a DORA report that public hearings were held before legislative action. Media reports from the communities of Perrysburg, Port Clinton, and Shaker Heights are examples of this. There is absolutely no benefit to the city of North Canton, economic or otherwise, for the creation of a DORA, nor is there any benefit to the residents of the city to allow individuals to carry open containers of alcohol up and down Main Street. North Canton residents want a safe and quiet community, and this does not further that goal. Lastly, I have to scratch my head and wonder why members of North Canton City Council are not mindful of conflicts of interest in their roles as elected officials. City Council President Peters as an employee of a liquor distributor and Councilmember Stroya as an owner investor of an craft brewing business. Neither of you should be participating in this door. Given the failures to follow state statute and the fact that this legislation undermines the quiet and safe North Canton community that we enjoy, I urge this council to vote down Ordinance 55, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Okay, that concludes public speaks. Ben, we have no one else?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Now moving on to old business. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 45-20?
Revolt moves.
Waren second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to amend and retitle Chapter 1181 Amendments of the Codified Ordinances to remove procedural redundancies and clarify the amendment process.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the third and final reading of 4520 and 4620, which are companion pieces. Prior to our consideration, these were combined in one chapter of our codified ordinances. The issue that we're going to vote on in just a moment, as the short title says, describes with greater clarity the process through which council makes amendments. And the second, which we'll vote on in just a second, clarifies the process through which the language is actually applied to the zoning map itself. So as we said earlier, the first one is for how we get the language, and the second one is how that language is applied to the map.
All right. Okay, any questions?
No. I move we adopt the third reading of ordinance 45-20.
Do we have a second?
Seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 46-20.
So
Bolts
moved,
moved.
Waren.
Both seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to create Chapter 1182 Amendments to Zoning Map of the Codified Ordinances in order to clarify the zoning map amendment process.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
Well, we just covered this, so if there aren't any questions, I would entertain a motion, or I'll make a motion to adopt the third reading of ordinance 46-20.
Both seconds.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 50-20?
Waren.
Both
Revolt
seconds.
seconds.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to approve the 2020 codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, to adopt new matter, and to amend and repeal certain obsolete and conflicting legislative provisions.
All right, thank you. Chairman Stroya.
All right, this is the third reading we have of this, and this is to streamline the codification. I want to thank Ben and Ed Walsh for the depth that they went on this. This is very much appreciated. Nothing new since last week. Nothing else to add there. I motion to approve.
Both seconds.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 51-20?
Revolt moves.
Volt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance establishing policies relating to the use of paper representation materials such as letterhead and business cards by members of City Council.
All right, thank you. Chairman Straya.
Okay, yep, this is the paper representation of the letterhead, the business cards. Again, nothing new here. We discussed it last week, and I motion to approve.
Volt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 55-20.
Revolt moves.
Volt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, in the city of North Canton under Ohio Revised Code section 4301.82, approving related safety and sanitation plans and providing for oversight and review.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
Well, with the indulgence of the president, I'd like to respond to our public speaks.
Sure.
First of all, is Mr. Osborne has misread the Ohio Revised Code. He is wrong about the adoption date, and he is wrong about a public hearing. I simply find it inexcusable that Mr. Osborne does not have his facts straight on this matter. And I would refer him to section 4301.8, or the Ohio Revised Code, section 4301.82, section A, section C. He can read it as his convenience, but he is incorrect. Number two is, I think if one is going to lodge the charge of conflict of interest, one should have a firm grasp of the legal definition of conflict of interest under the Ohio Revised Code. The fact of the matter is that neither Member Stroya nor Member Peters have a conflict of interest in this matter. And it does not further public discussion or public debate when the motives of the members of council or the council itself are impugned by frivolous, careless charges against members' integrity or the willful misreading of the law. Now, for the purposes of discussion, this is the second reading tonight. We've walked through it with great care. I would remind any listener that the law provides for ample safeguards on the DORA. The most important being, there are actually two. The first is the council can change the terms and conditions of it consistent with law at any time during its operation. That's A. B is there is a 5-year sunset, and council must take affirmative action at the end of 5 years to continue the DORA. So, are there any questions from council?
No, sir.
Daryl Dom here.
Yes.
The idea of the DORA is kind of in conjunction with all the other things we're working on for the city as we move forward in the 21st century. So this is just an added tool in the tool belt, not that it may be maximally used or underused. It's just an extra tool in conjunction with all the other things, the DRD, the CRA, the updated codes, all those things. So it kind of all goes hand in hand, in my opinion. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, point well made.
Hey, Daryl,
Yes.
you know, we've had it downtown in Canton. The CID had worked on that for a while, and it was really successful. And their scope was a lot smaller. And I think when Centennial Square, opens, it's going to be really helpful for those businesses and those restaurants. I also saw it used in Louisville just last week. And so going from Unhitched to a new restaurant called Snatch along that kind of beltway was really successful as well. And I think when we get that centerpiece, I mean, I understand that kind of some people looking at it right now might say, okay, so we're going to have people walking from El Racone all the way up to Mama Gazzardi's. This just doesn't make sense. And I understand that, but it has been used successfully other places. And I think you're also trying to use it to get people into maybe that more walking sort of area. I mean,
Right.
The idea is not to trudge up all the way up to Mama Gazzardi's.
Right. And remember too, we're also in the process of relaxing our outdoor dining regulations.
Yeah.
Right. Again, to help businesses stay profitable in this COVID era. So, but Stephanie, points well made.
This is Fultz. I think everyone's making great points. So, obviously you got to look towards the future. Nothing's perfect when it starts out, but hopefully we can have some restaurant establishments in the Hoover complex at some point and revisit Main Street. Hopefully there's some other occupant there that's going to open up a restaurant to, a bar area there also. So,
and I would tell people we're not going to be able to rush this into reality or practice. The law is very clear. You have to have 4 licenses. We've got 2 now. So we're teeing the door up. So should licenses 3 and 4 come online, the door will be in place.
Yeah.
Right.
And I might add, those licenses have to apply to the state as well.
Right.
Again, it's
So,
an added
It's
tool.
an added protection. Yeah. This is not the kind of Wild West that was previously depicted during our recognition of visitors.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from council? This is only the second reading. Are there any other questions or comments?
Nope.
If not, then I would make a motion
If I may,
to,
Chairman Revolt,
yes.
we, in light of what you just said, we do need a motion to amend the map included in the ordinance to reflect that there are now only 2 permit holders with
All
the
right.
loss of Main Street Grill.
All right, so we have made a motion to read. I will make a motion to amend the map reflecting that the Main Street Grill has gone dormant.
Daryl,
Yes,
this is Patrick. I would ask that you not do that until we've had an opportunity to talk to our consultant about
okay,
any of that implication. If you want to table this and not do the second reading, I understand that. But I'd ask you not to be amending the map until we've had that opportunity. I've had a conversation with the new owner of that establishment, and I believe their intent is to be open in the next 30 days for the holiday. There's a transfer of liquor license in process, so I'd ask us not to do that at this time.
all right, let me do this then. Rather than amend the map, I will make a motion that we table ordinance 55-20.
I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion and a second to table ordinance 55-20. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, motion and a second, read by title only, ordinance 56-20.
Fultz moves.
Troy moves.
Fultz
Both
second.
seconds.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending and retitling Chapter 1301 Residential Building Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
All right. Thank you. Chairman Revolt.
All right, this piece, along with 7G, H, and I, reflect the work of our Chief Building Officer, to basically make our language clearer and more precise. In this particular ordinance, it's been retitled, and we're adopting both the state residential building code and the state building code. We include some additions to the language requiring address IDs, regulating rubbish, and construction toilets. Marty, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Did I leave anything out that's significant?
That pretty well covers it. What I might add is this does give us some additional tools when those that don't want to follow the rules and that are negatively impacting those around them.
Yep, rubbish and toilets.
Right.
Yep. Okay, are there any other questions?
Nope.
If not, I move we adopt the second reading of ordinance 56-20.
Full seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 57-20?
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to create Chapter 1302 permits of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton in order to clarify the building permit process.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
Again, as I'd indicated earlier, this is has been basically, it's a new chapter. The language is very clear, it's very precise, and includes, as Marty had earlier indicated, some language for enforcement on the building permit process. So, basically what Marty's trying to do here, consistent with our theme, we want to be more friendly to our building contractors. And what Marty has done is write this in such a way that a building contractor seeking a permit can clearly understand what the requirements are to get that permit. Any questions?
Well needed.
Excellent work.
Dominic, anything?
No, I was just going to say it's exactly what we're about here is tidying up everything, making it way more cohesive.
Right. Yeah. So, just a kind of an editorial comment here. We had a discussion many months ago about shifting over to Safe Build and using it as our building officer, our Center for Permits and Inspections. And I think what we're seeing here is another facet of the improvement that has come from bringing Safe Build on. And again, the promise was we'd have access to better language, we'd smooth out our processes. Hopefully we would have happier contractors. And I think that's where we're headed with this. If there are no other questions, then I'll move we adopt the second reading of ordinance 57-20.
Full
Second,
seconds.
Troy.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 58-20?
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 1303, raising of buildings, specifically Section 1303.07A, fees for permits, of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton to set fees for permits for the raising of buildings, structures, or parts thereof.
All right, thank you, Chairman Revolt.
We had a pretty good discussion last time or a while back about what these fees are. I think Marty has answered those questions, whether they're comparable or not. And I think the record ought to reflect that The demolition cost for a home is about $15,000. That's not including the acquisition cost of the parcel. So these costs, by and large, are not particularly out of line. And as Marty has demonstrated, they're consistent with other communities. It's important to understand that, in effect, we're providing a fee for service. We need to inspect, particularly the utilities, to ensure that water has been shut off, the electric has been terminated, and probably most importantly, the gas is off before we take a building down. And to review the plans for demolition, to get somebody out, not once, but I think twice, at $40 or $60 an hour, our cost, this is not unreasonable. We have any questions? If none, I'll take a motion to adopt I'll make a motion to adopt the second reading of Ordinance 58-20.
Both seconds.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only Ordinance 59-20?
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to create Chapter 1310 Contractor Registration Requirements of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton in order to clarify the process by which contractors are registered with the city.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
All right, I promise this is the last time I'm speaking this evening.
Don't say
once-
that.
Can't keep.
Not so
Once-
fast.
once-
I'll put 10 down
I
on
want to be
that.
done. Hey, once again, Marty has gotten in and really cleaned up the language here for the registration. And as we had a discussion, we really have, they've got to provide proof of liability, which he stated. I believe we have allowed the fee to be waived. Excuse me, registration fees $150. The other documents that are required are all clearly listed. So again, this is really a pretty straightforward section. And more importantly is, I think we've got some enforcement language as well, and we lay out an appeals process. So it's a comprehensive new chapter for contractor registration. Marty, did I leave anything out?
That fairly well covers it. What I might add is the requirement for the bond goes away with this. And we also identify a minimum amount for the liability insurance at $1 million for the general contractor and $500,000 for the trade contractors.
Yep, that's in section 1310.02 B2. But again, what's beautiful about this, anyone who reads this, wants to do business in town, can look at this, and it's very, very clear what the requirements are. If there are no other questions or comments, then I move that we adopt the second reading of Ordinance 59-20.
Second, Stroya.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only Ordinance 60-20?
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to amend and retitle Chapter 909, Registration of Contractors of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
All right, thank you. Chairman Fonte.
Yes, this is, we talked about this last week, but basically we're talking about the permit fees for the public right-of-ways, which would be the construction of streets, sidewalks, gutters, driveways, and, basically the procedures on how they do that. And so I'm not sure if there's anything more to add to that. It was pretty much cut and dry. If Marty or Rob or anybody wants to chime in, feel free. If there's no other questions, go ahead and let's pass the second reading.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion to pass the second reading.
All right.
Both seconds.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. All right. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 61-20?
Revolt moves.
Where in second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 907, Street Excavations of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically Sections 907.02, 907.03, and 907.06, and creating Section 907.07.
All right. Chairman Fonte.
Yeah, this is just streamlining the process for those public right-of-ways for the work for streets, alleys, and also how the engineer has an opportunity to go out and make sure everything's done properly. And if there's no questions on that, I move we adopt the second reading.
Both seconds.
Both seconds.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Okay. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only resolution 6-20?
Revolt moves.
Where in second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Ben?
A resolution accepting and establishing a policy for the viewing of permanent paper records maintained by the Office of City Council, including Council's Journal, the Record of Legislation, the codified ordinances, and other historic documents.
All right. Thank you. Chairman Stroy.
All right, as previously discussed in the committee of the whole in the first two readings, this is the procedure to view the records similar to what a library or museum would have. Nothing new here. I move to adopt if there's no questions or comments.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. All right. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only resolution 7-20?
Revolt moves.
Where in second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Ben?
A resolution acknowledging the loss of certain records of proceedings and accepting the replacements created by the Office of Council as more fully described below.
All right. Thank you. Chairman Stroy.
Okay, as previously discussed in the committee of the whole in the first two readings, this is the replacement of the lost record. It was digitally replaced in whole. And are there any questions or comments? I move to adopt.
Revolt seconds.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to new business. May I have a motion and a second to allow consideration of ordinance 63-20 without a committee report under Council Rule 111.06C?
Revolt moves.
Where in
Story
second?
seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. With that being said, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 63-20?
Revolt moves.
Where in second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the appropriation of funds received under Section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act for current expenses during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right. Thank you. Chairwoman Warren.
So this was the first thing we talked about tonight. We had a special meeting regarding this appropriation. It's over $600,000 from the CARES Act due to the COVID Relief Fund. And we are going to be meeting tomorrow and in the next coming weeks to figure out how to spend some of this money. We were able to use the other amounts allocated. The total is somewhere close to $1 million for all three allocations. So if no other discussion, I move to adopt. And it is
Vote seconds.
because we have to get it done.
Okay,
Vote seconds.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. And may I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings.
Revolt moves.
Bolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, may I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 6320 under suspension of the rules.
Revolt moves.
Bolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to department reports. Deputy Director of Administration.
She's
Is
on
not
vacation.
available. She's on vacation.
Yep, sorry about
All right.
that. Director of Administration, Patrick.
Yes, just a quick note for the listening public that we're pleased to announce the promotion of Matt Morrow to the position of Operations Manager in the Street and Sanitary Sewer Department. Matt was the successful candidate on an internal posting. He's been with the city of North Canton for over 22 years, moves into this position from the highest rank within that department, a service worker level 4. He's very knowledgeable of all the operational processes, and his role is going to be is running the department and working with the crews and making sure that we improve our processes of how we do things, and we document things a little bit better, and that the service department continues to meet the expectations that it sets for itself, which are very high and have served our community well. So we want to thank Matt, and if you happen to see him or text him or send him an email, he would sure appreciate the acknowledgement. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Mayor.
Thank you, President Peters. Good evening, everyone. Just a few comments. First of all, I want to again thank Edward Walsh from Walsh University, our intern. That was played a real strong role in helping us review our 2020 codified ordinances. So again, Ed, thank you very much. And thank you, Walsh University, for supplying that intern for us. We're very fortunate to get more CARES money towards the help of our economy and our budget here in North Canton. So as Ms. Alabac said, it'll be put to good use. And just a general comment about the DORA. I understand there's going to be discussion on this, but our feeling was to say that the DORA is being created primarily to support positive economic impact for present and future downtown food establishments, restaurants, or businesses. And I'm sure as we continue on with City Council and our business community and our community in general will continue discussion on its future. So I appreciate the comments tonight, and it is a topic to be discussed and viewed as something else that we might be able to have if and when we have more food establishments and the development of our town center. So thank you very much, Mr. President. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, Director of Finance, Gina.
Thank you. I have no report tonight.
All right, thank you very much. All right, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr.
Rob.
President.
Yes, sir.
A couple quick things. Our East Hill project, happy to report that our paving contractor is going to be in on Wednesday to start getting the first of our 3 lifts of asphalt down. Still looking to get that open the last week of October, weather permitting, but we've had just a beautiful fall to get stuff done so far, and we are a bit ahead of schedule. Out on East Maple Street, quite happy with our progress out there. If you've driven it, there's a lot of different operations from the bridge subcontractor to the sidewalk construction, to the decorative light pole base and conduit contractor crew. And also we're doing some pours on the decorative intersection at Eastgate at Walsh and the Washington Square signal. We'll have that halfway done by the end of the week and then flip it over and build the north half. So this weather is allowing us to get a lot done and keeping things moving and get through these detours of ours. And with that, that completes my report, Mr. President, unless there's any other questions.
All right, thank you, Rob. Anyone have a question for Rob? Okay, Council Clerk, Ben.
I just have a request for City Council night when we get to the meetings calendar. The Director of Finance and I have received from the County Auditor our annual property tax amounts and rates that we must approve by resolution. And they just gave it to us, but the due date is October 20th. So I'd ask that council please consider adding a special council meeting to follow committee on the 19th to approve that.
Okay, we will do that.
And that's all.
All right, thank you, Ben. Member Foltz.
No report.
All right, Member Warren.
No report.
All right, Member Fonte.
Just to remind everybody, October 10th, the 10 bags, the 25 bags that you're allowed to get at Moeller True Value. They're on 4214 Portage. That's up and running. All you got to do if you're a citizen with a bill, your utility bill, just take that in. Now that kicked off on the 10th of October and it's running. So that's up and running. So go ahead and get your bags. Let everybody know that lives in the city. It's free. Also, Kimball start picking up the week of October 18th through November 20th. So that's when they'll pick up the lease. I believe it's during normal pickups. But at any rate, that's all I have to report. Just want to remind everybody.
All right. Thank you, Dom. Member Revolt.
I want to echo the mayor just briefly. I'm always happy to, and I welcome a debate over elements of the city's economic future. I think the stakes in this community are huge. We are achieving more than we have at any other time that I've been involved in city government. Pieces, the parts are all beginning to come together. But I also want to remind people who are listening that while I certainly am happy to debate and discuss those issues, willfully misrepresenting the facts and knowingly making false statements about ethical matters is never acceptable, and it is not conducive to debate. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Darrell, and I could not agree more. All right, Member Soretta.
No report.
Member Stroya.
Yeah, first I wanted to say thanks, Chuck, for speaking, but I also want to echo what Councilman Revolt is saying. There's no conflict of interest. And to put this an example, my brewery has not distributed anything within what would be considered the Dora district in over 2 years. So that bothers me. I mean, I'm always up for a debate, just like Darrell was saying. But when you make ethical claims like that, that's beyond ridiculous. So, just call and ask. I'm open. I'm always willing to talk. If you think something's a conflict, approach me. I also want to say thanks again to Ben and Ed Walsh for all their work. It is very undervalued what you guys did. You spent so much countless time in just doing very tedious work, and it is greatly appreciated. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay, final call for new business. Council? See none, will we move on to the meetings calendar? As Ben referenced earlier in his report, I'm going to need a motion and a second to add a special council meeting immediately following the October 19th committee, the whole meeting.
Mr. President, I'm not sure it's a special meeting if we vote to put it on the calendar.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, council meeting.
But I will move that we add to the October 19th, 2020 calendar, a meeting of council to consider tax rates.
Destroy a second.
All right, do I need a roll call on that, Ben?
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. With that being said, our meeting calendar, October 19th, 2020, committee of the whole meeting, followed by regular council meeting. October 26th, we'll have at 6:30 p.m. a public hearing on the proposed amendments to outdoor dining. It followed immediately at 7 p.m. Regular council meeting. And that concludes our agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Revolt moves.
Where second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries and we are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Same to everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah. Hey, Ben,
Yeah.
it's Shannon. How you